Staying on topic with last week's video, today we will be discussing Chrysler's proposal for the next generation of heavy tank in the 1950s. That of course being the Chrysler TV-8. On May 17, 1955, they would unveil it as their proposal for next generation in heavy tank. TV-8 would stray radically from every other US design from its time and still to this day. Weighing in at 25 tons, TV-8 was no slouch, especially for its size. The turret alone weighed in at close to 13.6 tons, and within it would be armed the familiar 90mm T208 in a rigid non-recoiling mount, while loading would then be assisted by a hydraulic ramming device. Ammunition would be fed through a separate compartment located behind the crew compartment in the midsection of the turret bustle, separated by a steel bulkhead of unknown thickness. Fire support would be provided by two .30 caliber machine guns fitted coaxially on either side of the main gun. The commander would also have access to a remotely mounted .50 caliber machine gun in its own pod on the turret roof. But what I consider to be the most interesting design philosophy of TV-8 was the sheer number and type of power plants they were considering. The most practical of them being a hybrid electric drivetrain powered by an unspecified Chrysler V8, which in theory would be able to generate 300 gross horsepower. It would then be coupled to a large electric generator positioned in the rear of the turret bustle. While unusual for most hybrid electric drives, the generator would then be used to power one large motor that would power both of its 28-inch wide tracks. Sadly, there isn't much information on the specifics of the power plants that were under consideration, but the resources available do point towards a gas turbine electric drive or a vapor cycle power plant powered by an unspecified number of hydrocarbon-based fuel sources. What that means, I got no idea. Maybe someone in the comments could let me know. But the most interesting and most talked about of these motors was that of a vapor cycle power plant powered by several nuclear cells. While on paper an excellent idea, I shouldn't have to explain to you the significant emotional event that the crew and surrounding infantry would be feeling if TV-8 were to be hit with a penetrating shot. As for fuel, it would be stowed in a compartment within the turret bustle, separated from the crew via another set of bulkheads. And as per its design, having an enormous heavily armored metal bowl does lend itself to some advantages. It's even crazier considering what you see on the exterior is only the first layer of armor just thick enough to detonate shaped charges, and it's theorized that the inner layer would be much thicker to protect its crew of 4. But in a pinch, only 2 men were required to aim the gun and drive the vehicle. And in case of nuclear blast, the crews had access to a small closed-circuit television to protect them from the harmful flash that would happen upon the point of impact, while still being able to see as well as increasing the crew's field of view. Now keep in mind the 25-ton TV-8 was still designed to be amphibious, making use of the large air gaps between the outer and inner layers of the thick-spaced plates in the turret. But that's all I got for y'all today. I sincerely hope you enjoyed the video and maybe even learned something new. Make sure to share any recommendations you may have for possible vehicles you would like me to cover, or feel free to correct me on any information I may have portrayed incorrectly or unfairly. Other than that, wherever you are, I hope you have a wonderful good morning, good evening, or good night. Peace.